All right, welcome back to Man Down Sports, man. As you can see from the thumbnail, Luka Doncic is going to be the topic of discussion today for this episode, man. It's been a lot of talk about this MVP thing. It's been a lot of talk about Luka and MVP for the last 3 years. I think this is his fourth year, his rookie season. You know, we didn't know what to expect. Well, some people didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be good. Then he come out and he plays phenomenal basketball. And then ever since then, just seeing the style of offense that Luka played and the showcasing how good he was, and also being able to play in that James Harden system where he's the primary scorer, the primary ball handler, the primary distributor, and the point guard, and he's all those things in one. That's going to put you in a position where you're going to have a lot of accumulated points, a lot of accumulated assists. And then on the defensive end, when it's almost like you get rewarded for not being a good defender, where they will put you on a player that's not going to produce that much offense, so you get the rest on defense a little bit, while your other four teammates play lockdown defense, which also in today's NBA, a lot of long threes been taken, and long threes when you miss turn into long rebounds. So the rebounds that we are used to, Charles Oakley, Dennis Rodman, Alonzo Mourning, Anthony Mason, Shaq, Kim Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, those guys that was battling and boxing out and fighting down low for rebounds, is no longer the same rebound that players are getting now. And you can pull up stats now. Pull up Steph Curry's last 4 or 5 games. He's getting 8 to 10 rebounds a game. All right, and it's not because he's down there boxing out Jokic or Embiid. It's because those long threes that most teams take in the NBA now, the rebound ends up somewhere free throw line extended, and sometimes beyond it to the 3-point line. So that's it's pretty much the quickest man to the ball gets the rebound. So even rebounds are not that impressive, and it's all, like I said, it's a reward for players who aren't guarding the guy that's going to be taking the most shots, because if anybody on the court is eligible to grab a rebound, the last 2 guys that are probable to get that rebound is the guy who took the shot and the guy who's defending the guy who took the shot. Those 2 guys are the least expected to get the rebound, right? So your best defender is usually going to be on the best scorer, and those 2 guys are probably going to get less rebounds. But the guys that are freelance and who can't play defense or don't want to play defense, those are the ones who's going to be running down those rebounds and getting a lot of rebounds. So I say all that to say this. Everyone knows that for the last 3 years, Luka has played that style of offense that James Harden played and won MVP with in Houston, and that Russell Westbrook played at the OKC Thunder and got his triple doubles and won MVP in OKC. Luka was playing that same style of offense, and then the same non-defensive player that those 2 guys were that I just mentioned. Luka was doing that, and people that around the league that can observe and see, that's prime suspect for MVP, because we know with those numbers, points, assists, rebounds, puts you right in the MVP discussion, because we've turned the MVP, when we turn NBA awards, into strictly just numbers. We don't care that it's 2 ends of the basketball court, and some of these guys who are putting up these numbers are not interested in the other end of on the defensive end at all. Like, as long as I get you points, rebounds, and assists, I'm an MVP candidate, and some of the media is mine. Forget that I'm the worst defender in the league. Forget that, right? So I say all that to say this. Luka Doncic, the last 3 years before the season has started, has been most people's preseason MVP. He's had the most odds to win the MVP, and rightfully so, because the numbers was going to look good based on how he plays offense. The numbers were going to look good, but every year the same thing happened. Before the All-Star break, not even before the All-Star break, before we get to 25 games, Luka falls out of the MVP discussion. His second season in the league, he came in the league out of shape. so out of shape. He got out to a horribly bad start, right? And he was out of the preseason favorite for MVP was out of the MVP discussion by game 12. Then the year after that, he came back. Jason Kidd was the coach. They got they got rid of Porzingis a little bit later that year, but he was there for the start of the season, and he was a preseason MVP favorite again. And once again, he came into the season out of shape. He was so out of shape that Jason Kidd sat him out 4 or 5 straight games, and I think he was on record for saying he just wasn't ready physically. Like, that's how out of shape he was, right? I fell out of MVP discussion before game 20. And this year, the same trend. Everyone picked Luka to be the MVP this season. And he came out this year and he wasn't that out of shape. He played some FIBA basketball. They got put out. They didn't go far. He did decent. We kept seeing screenshots of him looking like he was in shape. And everybody was like, oh, Luka's going to be in shape for this season. Jason Kidd made it a priority to discuss him being out of shape during the playoffs and all that stuff, man. So we just knew Luka was going to come in ready to go, and he did. But guess what? He's getting those numbers, and they're not turning into wins. As a matter of fact, in the last 10 games, I think they're 3-7, right? And they're 1 game below 500 overall. So for a team like the Mavs to be led by Luka Doncic and for them to be out of the playoff race, number 11 in the West, and even lower than that if you put East and West together and just go by best teams all the way down, right? Bottom of the pack. They're dead last in assists. They're dead last in points against. So they're giving up the most points. They're dead last in rebounds. Right? So these are the things that your star player that leads your team. If you're going to come and tell me and say, look, I'm a great scorer, and I look at your team and your team is at the bottom half of scoring, what is your great scoring doing to help my team? All right, so let me use an analogy. If I come into a household and I look at the house and the house is dirty, and I say, man, who's the cleaner in here? Who's the best cleaner? You'd be like, hey, yeah, I'm known for cleaning. And I look at the house and say, well, the house is dirty. That's on you. Like if your leadership and your ability should translate for the team. So if I'm great at scoring and I can't figure out a way to make my team great at scoring, what good is your scoring? If I'm great at distributing the ball, like Luka gets about 9 assists a game, but my team is dead last in assists, what good is my assist if the team is not at the top? And those are always red flags. And I noticed this trend with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook would get triple doubles and be high on the assists, but I always looked and saw his team at the bottom half of assists. On the contrary, someone like Golden State or San Antonio Spurs, their teams were always at the top of assists for team. So is it better to have a team full of players, you got 5 players on the court, and you have an offense that allows everyone on that team to make a great play for other people, right? And have your superstar scorer be off the ball. That way it unlocks the potential of someone else on your team, like Draymond Green, who's a good passer. Like, what good would Draymond Green be if Steph ran James Harden's system or Luka's system, where he's the point guard and always has the ball and they run high screen and roll all day long, and he feeds passes to everyone when he don't have a shot, right? So basically what it is, the offense that they're running in Dallas is, Luka, you bring the ball up, we're going to set a screen for you. Option 1 is for you to get all the way to the rim for a layup. If they take that away, option 2 is for you to turn your back and back the dude in and see if you can get your shot. Option 3, if they double you make the pass, and whoever you pass it to got to shoot the three. Right? If all of that fails, option 4 is for you to pass it out, run back out to the 3-point line, get the ball back, and do it all over again. Right? That's the offensive system for Dallas. When you run an offense like that, there's only one guy that's more likely going to get the assist. Right? And then when Luka goes to sit down, whoever his second best player is, this year it's Dinwiddie, last year it was Brunson. They run the same system. Screen for me at top. Everybody else get ready for a pass. If I don't have a shot, if I have a shot, I'm taking it. So it's just like Brunson and Luka last year just took turns doing that, and Dinwiddie and Luka this year is just take turns doing that. What are the other 4 guys going to do, right? So, but anyway, it's good for numbers. And they're still pushing this narrative that Luka should be the MVP. I'm gonna play a clip. I think this was Richard Jefferson. No, it's actually Matt Barnes and some of the WNBA players that was on the pregame show talking about Luka for MVP. I'm gonna play what they said.
We speak the same language.
Sisters separated at birth. It happens.
100%. What does Jason Tatum have the opportunity to do to be the all-time leading scorer in a season? 30.5 is what he's averaging. No other Celtic has done that. So it will take a lot of work to maintain that. Larry Bird's done it a couple times, but he was at 29.9. Jason Tatum right now is 30.5. But you hit the nail on the head, Ramona. So I guess we can share answers here because it's Tatum, but it's also Luka, right? We saw that head-to-head matchup, and Luka has been phenomenal. He's averaging 33, and he's pacing the NBA in scoring. So I think that maybe a first-time MVP happening this season could be okay. You know what?
They're still pushing the narrative. They're still pushing it, right? This is the 3rd year in a row he's been a preseason MVP, and he's going to fall out before the All-Star break. But they're still trying to keep hope alive right now, only because he's averaging 38 and 8. Just those numbers. Forget the defensive end, right? But I got a better idea. Right, because I don't think nobody that's at the bottom, that's out of the playoff picture, should even be in the MVP conversation. Right, so the only reason why people are saying that he's in there and they're excusing the losses and the bad play and saying what he don't have any help. It always appears that they don't have it. If you look at Houston and go and OKC Thunder with Westbrook, Harden and Westbrook, Houston, OKC Thunder. It always appeared like they didn't have any help. If you look at LeBron James when he was at Cleveland before he went to Miami, it always appeared that they didn't have any help. Anytime you play the system where your best player has the ball running high screen and roll at the top of the key and he's your point guard, which is the case for Westbrook, Harden, Luka, and LeBron pre-Miami. They were the point guard that always had the ball, and you're the primary distributor, the point guard, the primary scorer, and the setup man, and the assist man. All those roles in one. It looks good for numbers, but it always makes it seem like you don't have help, because how can I look like I'm helping you if all I'm doing is standing at the 3-point line watching you dribble? The only option I have on offense is catch and shoot, or I can do the same thing you're doing when you go sit down, which is not that often. Right? You just wrap your mind around that. It always is a red flag when you say a guy doesn't have enough help, because I'm used to looking at a team like the Bulls, where Jordan had a number 2 in Scottie Pippen, but other than that, Cartwright, Paxson, Kerr, Armstrong, Kukoc, Judd Butler, Horace Grant. These ain't guys that were like superstars that joined Michael Jordan. These are guys that just got drafted to the team or got signed in free agency. They didn't have a name before, but they made a name for themselves playing with MJ. Right? Scottie Pippen was averaging like 3 points a game as a rookie or a sophomore. Right? It's not like he established himself as an all-star, superstar, and then him and Michael Jordan joined a team together. Now, these are developed guys who, playing with Michael Jordan, they look probably better than what they were. But here it is, it's the reverse when we're talking about these superstars like Luka, Westbrook, Harden, and LeBron James. It was always a blame game. of role players and coaches. The coach ain't good enough. And then hindsight being 2020, we see Mike Brown everywhere he's been after LeBron, he's been success. He was a success, been an assistant in Golden State running their defense. He has success right now in Sacramento as a head coach. Tyronn Lue, success, right? He's one of the best coaches in the league right now. David Black was successful before he even got to Cleveland. And then you got my man in Miami, Eric Spoelstra, success. Eric Spoelstra was named as one of the top, was it, did they do 25 or top 15? I can't remember what it was. That just came out for the 75th anniversary of the NBA. They just came out with a top 15, top 25 coaches list, and Eric Spoelstra was on it. So hindsight being 22, and we see that was all cap, right? They made it seem like Rondo was horrible with the Lakers. They made it seem like Kuzma was horrible. That's different. Why he's at the Wizards looking good. They made it seem like Ingram couldn't play. They made it seem like Lonzo Ball couldn't play. They made it seem like Mo Williams couldn't play. Big Z couldn't play. They made it seem like Larry Hughes was trash. They made it seem like Boozer was trash. Antoine Jameson. All these guys that played with LeBron. They made it seem like Melo was trash in Houston and in OKC. Eric Gordon, Dwight Howard, like all these dudes, Porzingis in my with the Mavs. Now they're saying Dinwiddie trash. They said Bronson was trash. All these guys is always a red flag when you have a guy that's a superstar, and the media and the fans blame the role players for every loss and every downfall they have, and they say that this superstar doesn't have enough help. That's always a red flag. Always a red flag. And that's all I hear with Luka. And they want him to win MVP, but he's not in the discussion being at the bottom of the barrel of the league record-wise. And in every statistical category, your team is at the bottom of the league. Assists, rebounds, points against. Like, that's just not a good look. I don't care what his numbers say. He has those numbers because he's the only one that has the ball. He's out there playing and emptying his clip every single night, every single possession. Imagine being good at 10 different things as a basketball player offensively. And we install an offense that allows you every single night to utilize every 10 thing you're good at. Passing, posting, shooting, distributing, like everything you're good at, we're going to display that. But your teammates can only utilize catch and shoot and setting screens and playing defense. That's the only thing they can do. You got everything. You can shoot the three, you can run the break, you can post, you can drive the lane, you can reset. Like, you got the freedom to do everything. But your teammates only have the freedom to stand at the three-point line, set a screen for you, catch and shoot threes, right? And play defense. How are you supposed to know who's good enough to help you if that's what they're doing? Because when Michael Jordan was playing like that, we didn't know how good Pippen was. But when Phil came in and took the ball out of Michael Jordan's hand, installed the triangle offense, then we got to see, and put Michael Jordan off the ball. Then we got to see how good Pippen was with the ball. How was we going to find that out if he was just catching and shooting the whole time while Michael Jordan was just out there dancing on the court? That's what Luka's doing. He's running the James Harden offense. All right, but I didn't want to keep you long. I just wanted to say that here's the alternatives and the people who I think is really the MVPs. Jason Tatum, best record in the league, best record in the East, right? If you don't like, he's a player that plays offense and defense. He's locked down on defense, and he can't be locked down on offense, right? So if it's offense you like, Jason Tatum's giving you enough of that. However, he doesn't run the Harden offense, so he don't have the ball 4 quarters making passes and taking any shot he wants. He's playing off the ball, so he's not going to have the assist numbers that Luka have, and he plays defense on ball, so he's probably not going to have the rebounds that most freelancers get on defense either. So besides those numbers, just watching the game is a no-brainer. It's 2 sides of the basketball court. offense and defense. I got a player that completely plays offense and completely plays defense. And then I got another player who completely plays offense and plays zero defense. I'm not going to respect the numbers of that offense like I'm going to respect the numbers of the offense that also plays defense, right? That's what Jason Tatum is. But if you're going to give me the excuse that, well, Jason Tatum has a better squad than Luka, he has Jaylen Brown, and Luka don't have anybody equivalent to Jaylen Brown, even though he had Porzingis and Brunson last year. But let's just pretend like Luka don't have help. Okay, well, cool. Don't go with the guy with the best record in the league that plays both ends of the floor. Let's go with the guy with the second best record in the league who plays both ends of the floor, who don't have his number 2 because Chris Paul is hurt. And I'm talking about Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. And you can say, oh, but he has a great coach and Monty Williams, and the team is better than the Mavs. What's the difference between Christian Woods and DeAndre Ayton? Because if Chris Paul is out and I got the second best record in the league, no Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is out. Chris Paul is out. Cameron Johnson is out. I'm out there with Cameron Payne, DeAndre Ayton, and Miles Bridges. Mikal Bridges. I'm sorry. Mikal Bridges. Right? Mikal Bridges, Dinwiddie, same level. Ayton, Christian Wood, same level. Luka, Booker, same level. There's no difference. The only difference is the offense they run. Monty Williams installed the real offense. Devin Booker is off the ball with a conventional point guard in Cameron Payne. But Devin Booker has on-ball skills, so sometimes he's going to get the ball and make it happen on his own. Luka needs to play that style. He had a real point guard in Brunson, but he wouldn't let him be a point guard because Luka had to be the point guard. He doesn't have to be that. He can get off the ball, and he'll unlock more potential in his team if he does that. So my number 1 for MVP, honestly, is Devin Booker. Number 2 is Jason Tatum. Right? If I had to pick a third guy right now, it probably would be Giannis. And I know people getting tired of Giannis winning the MVP and Jokic winning the MVP, but come on, man. Like, look what he's doing without Mendelsohn. So that would be my top 3: Booker, Tatum, Giannis. I don't have Luka anywhere in the top 5. I don't have Steph Curry up there. Steph Curry is another player that is below 500. I don't have Kevin Durant up there, even though he got his team at 500 now, and he's dealing with so much stuff. He's playing phenomenal basketball, and he's playing defense, right? But I can't put him up there if it's not translating to team success, right? But I guarantee you, if I had a choice of whether to put KD in the conversation of Luka, it's going to be KD. Just observing the game and watching how they play, he's better offensively and he plays better defense. Only thing Luka got going for him is numbers. And I just explained to you how he get his numbers. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, man. Y'all let me know, man. Is Luka really an MVP? Why do you think that they keep wanting to force Luka down our throat and tell us he's the MVP and tell us how great he is, even though he's just doing the same thing Westbrook and Harden did? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I'm an idiot, right? If you fool me a third time, come on, you just not a grown up, right? And that's how I think about it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all in the next video.